Okay, so let's dive in. I'm pretty sure everyone listening has heard of the law of attraction. You see it everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. Books, social media posts, it's unavoidable.
And if you're anything like me, your internal skeptic alarm just goes off. It can sound like pure woo-woo, right?
Yeah.
Just sit on your sofa, wish for a Ferrari, and poof, it appears.
And that skepticism is honestly completely justified. The source material we're looking at really calls out that kind of passive wishing for what it is.
Which is what?
A total misconception. And it's that dismissal that makes people miss the hard neuroscience that's actually going on underneath it all.
Exactly. We are not here to talk about magic. This isn't about manifesting from thin air.
No, this is performance engineering. We're putting visualization under a neurobiological microscope.
And that's the key. When you hear about elite performers, top athletes, CEOs, they all swear by visualization. They're not doing a spiritual ritual.
No, they're doing targeted neurological programming. They're aiming at a very specific part of the brain, a bundle of nerves deep in the brainstem called the reticular activating system, the RAS.
The RAS.
Think of it like the main switchboard for your brain. It controls your sleep cycles, arousal, but for us today, its most critical job is being the ultimate gatekeeper of your attention.
So if you just write off visualization as, simple daydreaming.
You are ignoring what is probably the single most powerful science-backed performance tool that we have available to us.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then, to get past the skepticism, to really understand this RAS mechanism and figure out how to program that filter to curate the reality we actually want.
It's about making the invisible opportunities suddenly visible.
Let's start with just the sheer scale of the problem. Our brains are bombarded with information.
It's an absolute deluge. I mean, the numbers are staggering. At any given moment, your senses, your sight, your hearing, touch, all of it are taking in an estimated 2 million bits of information per second.
2 million per second.
Per second. That's the raw data hitting your nervous system.
If we actually tried to process that, we'd be paralyzed. We'd just stop.
Instantly. You'd be stuck trying to calculate the air temperature on your skin while also noticing every single dust mote in the air. So the brain needs a ruthless efficiency system.
And that system has to delete things.
A lot of things. Your conscious mind, what you're aware of right now, can only handle about 126 bits of that information per second.
Wait, 126 out of 2 million.
That's right. So do the math. Your brain is actively, systematically, and violently deleting 99.99% of reality just to keep you functional.
So this RAS, this gatekeeper, it's the one making those brutal cuts. It's deciding what my 126 bits are going to be.
It is the ultimate editor. It decides what gets through and what's just background noise. But the really crucial part is how it decides. It's programmed by what it thinks is important to you.
And what's the default setting? If we don't do anything, what does it prioritize?
Well, the default is usually threat assessment. That's just evolution. It was always more important to spot the tiger in the grass than to, admire a nice flower.
So the default is negative. It's looking for problems.
It tends to lean towards themes of struggle, fear, and lack. That's its baseline programming for survival.
Which means if your RAS is set to scarcity, a huge opportunity could literally walk up and introduce itself. And
your brain would file it as irrelevant, invisible. It's been told the priority is to confirm the struggle, so it diligently scans for problems, for obstacles, for all the reasons something won't work.
And it deletes the solutions.
It actively filters out the good news. But if you flick that, if you intentionally program it for, say, opportunity or connection,
you walk into the same room,
the exact same environment, but now your RAS is your co-pilot. Suddenly you overhear the one conversation you needed to hear. You spot the tiny gap in the market everyone else is missing.
So you're not creating the reality.
You are curating it. You're just consciously choosing which tiny sliver of reality your brain actually lets you perceive.
Okay, that reframing that's really powerful. It takes it out of the abstract and into a biological process.
It's just setting the search parameters.
So we need a concrete example of this filter at work. How do we know this is real and not just a theory?
The source material has a perfect analogy for this, something almost everyone has experienced, deciding to buy a specific thing like a car.
Right. The example they use is the white Tesla Model 3.
Exactly. So before you decided you wanted one, how often did you notice them?
Barely ever. Maybe one here or there. They were just cars,
Yeah.
Part of that 99.99% that gets deleted.
Right. Background noise. Zero importance assigned to them.
But then, the moment you make the decision, The second you tell your brain, I'm thinking about buying a white Tesla.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere. You see 3 on the way to work. They're in the parking lot next to you. It feels like the universe just delivered thousands of them overnight.
Of course it didn't. The cars were always there. What changed was the internal programming.
My RAS got a new directive.
Precisely. It went from marking white Tesla as unimportant background noise to high-priority information. It stopped filtering them out and started actively highlighting them for you.
So my external world didn't change one bit. The change was 100% internal.
And that proves it. Your brain is working around the clock to find evidence to confirm what you've told it is important.
Which means if we can do it for a car, we can absolutely do it for career goals, for financial opportunities, for anything.
The mechanism is identical. The goal is to make sure the internal instruction matches the reality you want.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question, the performance hack. How do we program it? Because just closing your eyes and thinking about success is
useless. It's passive daydreaming. It's like talking to the RAS in a language it literally does not understand.
What language does it speak?
It doesn't speak English. It doesn't speak logic. It speaks in 2 things, and only 2 things: high-definition images and elevated emotion.
Let's break those down, because this seems to be where wishful thinking and actual neurological programming split. Let's start with the images. Specificity.
Specificity is everything. It's the GPS coordinate for your goal. If the image in your head is blurry or vague, the RAS just dismisses it. It looks like a fantasy, not a real memory or instruction.
So a nice house is a useless goal.
Completely. You need sensory data. You need to visualize the texture of the stone on the front porch, the specific smell of the fresh paint or the wood, the exact sound the heavy front door makes when it closes.
You're engaging all the senses.
You have to. The detail is what makes the brain fire the neural pathways as if it's really happening. It makes the abstract tangible.
Okay, so high-def images. Got it. But you said that's not enough. What's the second component?
This is the secret sauce. Intensity. Or, more simply, emotion.
And this is where a lot of people get it wrong, right? If you visualize what you want, but the emotion you feel is wanting it or wishing for it.
You are actually programming your brain for the opposite of what you want. You're programming it for lack. Because the feeling of wanting sends a very clear signal to your brain. I do not currently have this. And the RAS, being the loyal servant it is, goes to work finding evidence in your reality that you lack that thing. It perpetuates the struggle.
So you have to trick the brain. You have to generate the feeling of having the result.
Yeah.
Now.
Yes, you have to feel it as if it's already done, a foregone conclusion. The key emotions are gratitude, excitement, and especially relief.
Relief.
Yes. You visualize signing that contract, and then you flood your body with the profound feeling of relief that the hard part is over, the gratitude that it's done. That feeling is the stamp that tells the brain, this is a real memory now.
So the high-definition image plus that intense elevated emotion, it creates a kind of synthetic memory.
And to the RAS, it's indistinguishable from a real one. Once it believes that goal is already your reality, its prime directive completely shifts.
From find evidence of lack.
To scan 24/7 to prove this new internal reality is correct. It stops being a wish. It becomes an instruction. The programming is complete.
And that connects directly to daily actions, like why writing down your goals can actually work.
Yes, but only when it's done correctly. As the source material points out, it's not a superstition. When you write it down with specificity and you generate that emotion, you're not just writing.
You're inputting code.
You're inputting high-definition code into the search engine of your mind. You are refreshing the RAS filter.
And given that our old programming, that default survival mode is so strong, you can't just do this casually. You need structure.
Absolutely. The source we're referencing talks about a specific tool for this, a 5-minute exercise called the RAS tuning protocol.
And what does that do?
It forces the discipline of specificity. It won't let you get away with a blurry image. It has questions that force you to define the target image. What do you smell? What do you hear? Who is with you?
So it's a framework to keep you from just sliding back into passive daydreaming.
Exactly. It forces the creation of that new, believable memory.
Okay, so let's make this real for everyone listening. We're going to give you an actionable challenge for the next 7 days.
This is a data experiment. First, pick one goal. Just one. Make it singular and very specific. A dollar amount, a physical achievement, whatever. But it has to be crystal clear.
Then you need to make it physical. Find a picture that represents that goal being accomplished. A real photo.
Right. And put that picture somewhere you cannot possibly ignore it. Your phone lock screen is perfect. The bathroom mirror taped to your coffee machine.
And here's the critical part. This is the action.
Every single time you see that picture, and this is the non-negotiable part, you take 10 seconds. That's it. Close your eyes.
And in those 10 seconds, you don't wish for it. You don't hope for it.
You forcefully generate the feeling of the certainty of it. Feel the gratitude. Feel the deep relief that it is already done. You are telling your brain, this is the new reality.
So what's the expected result? What should people be looking out for?
You need to pay very close attention to what will feel like coincidences.
An email out of the blue.
A person who calls with a random idea, an insight that just pops into your head in the shower.
And those aren't random.
Not at all. That is your newly programmed RAS, finally active, recognizing the clues it was told to find. It's your gatekeeper handing you the keys to that white Tesla, the very information that was being deleted just a week ago.
It's handing you the solution.
And for anyone who wants that structured tool we mentioned, that RAS tuning protocol, you can find the whole framework at peaksuccessformula.com. Don't just rely on memory. Use the tool. Your old programming is too strong to fight without a system.
So the big takeaway here is, stop walking through life blind. You now know, scientifically, that 99.99% of your reality is being filtered out by a system that defaults to fear.
The opportunities you're looking for are very likely right in front of you. They're just invisible until you program the filter.
You have the ability to turn that switch on today.
And as you start this 7-day experiment, think about this. The source material mentions that next week they're going to talk about applying the scientific method to your life, the data of you. So here's a thought to consider.
Okay.
If you spend the next 7 days consciously curating those 126 bits of reality your brain lets you see, what would the data tell you about the world you're currently missing? What opportunities are flying right past you simply because your internal filter was off?
That reframes everything. It's not a belief system. It's a data experiment on your own perception.
Go to work.
Start programming that internal search engine today. We'll see you next time for the Deep Dive.